Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Farmer Fran. Well, welcome back if you've been here before. If you're new to the channel, welcome as well. I hope you enjoy what you see. I am Farmer Fran. I am a real life farmer, and I also like to, farm on these YouTube streets and round up all the bulls cows, if you know what I'm saying. Well, tonight's video is going to be part 2 of the MGL-Michelle goes live. And her thinking she got that she's got a real good gotcha on Charlotte on the web. We are going to finish the it's a stream that Charlotte did, because she actually plays the clips of Michelle's. I don't know where, I can't find Michelle's, if she even has another one where she even did that live from like the day before yesterday or whatever, and because she has made so many new channels that it is so hard to even find. Like I found like 10 of them that she's made just since February, and none of them have any videos on them. So, but before we do that, we are going to check something out here. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who, sorry about that. Here we go. Saw my first couple YouTube videos that I did last year before I took my little hiatus. I don't really doing 2 videos. I did them on Shanny, Shanny For Christ. Shanny Needs Love was another channel of hers. The Losers Club. Then you have Revelation News, Rev. Jason is his known by name. Their channel, The Losers Club, was terminated. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, a round of applause. Congratulations, Shanny. You did it again. You lost another YouTube channel. I found it hilarious. Brev has since been, he's created another channel, because usually he hasn't had a channel for a while. He had one, but the last time she lost her channel, she made him delete his, because she was mad. If she can't have a channel, he can't have one either. Excuse me. So, yeah. So he's been, so apparently he's made a couple lives. It was already been proven to be a lie. He made a couple, did a couple little streams or whatever, videos, begging for money, which is the usual. And another usual thing is, which has become quite the what word am I? I'm having a brain fart. What word am I looking for? Oh goodness. Quite the so it's become I'd say quite repetitive, I should say. That was a word I think I was looking for. It's repetition, pretty much. That anytime something goes wrong with Shanny's life, and matter of fact, when she lost the last few YouTube channels she's had, she pulled the same stunt. The night that her and Rev got into a huge fight over something that she caused. I mean, was he doing something wrong? Did she catch him doing something wrong? Absolutely. But the way she, abused him on a live stream, made him told him he had to shave his head, and he couldn't shave his head because he didn't have clippers. He was trying to use scissors. He ended up with this awful haircut, and then she made him put, I think it was blue, or it was either red or blue in his hair. I can't remember the color, but basically, and then put like an A on his head, basically like a scarlet letter on his forehead. The cops got called. The cops even sat outside with him for an hour. They didn't want to speak with her. They gave him pamphlets saying, you are being abused, basically, to get away from her. And then when he did a live stream, because she told him he had to go on his channel and basically apologize to her in front of everybody, admit that he cheated on her when he really wasn't cheating on her. Cheating on her was he talking to other women, that bots basically, or scammers on Facebook. It's pretty much men in a call center in another country messaging men and pretending to be prostitutes, saying, I need the money up front and I'll meet you. Rev ain't had no money. And then she tried to say, well, that's where all the money's going. What fucking money, Shanny? They didn't have any money. Anyways, that night she pulled the same thing when he was on his live stream. And everybody was saying it was abuse. And he admitted that she had punched him in the face and all this stuff. Then she went to the bathroom and supposedly, tried to unalive herself, say we will. So apparently this is what supposedly happened again, but it wasn't because she lost her channel this time. Apparently she was listening to another creator named Carrie, who Shanny and Carrie had a personal relationship last summer as friends. Carrie was a mod on her channel. Carrie was there during the infamous of Rev being arrested for abusing Shanny's son. And after Shanny took him back, Carrie was like, "What the fuck, bro?" Because Shanny was saying, "Oh, I'm done with him," blah, 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 blah. Let him, and that's why she ended up, the final nail in the coffin, that's why she ended up losing her kids. Finally. For like the 5th time. And, excuse me. So, Carrie started a YouTube channel because people wanted to talk to her. She's being interviewed, all this stuff, all the, Shayna reaction channels. She ended up creating her own channel, which she gets, she has a pretty good following. And, she, apparently even though Shani says she doesn't watch Carrie, she said that multiple times. Apparently she was watching Carrie, and Carrie said something. This is what Rev's story is, right? Which I don't believe it. None of it's true. Because Shani always makes the threats that she's going to do those things, and apparently Carrie said something which, I don't agree with Carrie saying that to anybody, even though Shani is a horrible person. That's just my opinion. I don't agree with it. Saying to go ahead and basically do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Do it. Go ahead, do it. Because, yes, people will use that for attention, but at some point, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, fine, I guess I will then." You know what I mean? And even though, like I said, Shani is a horrible human being, but I just can't put that, I can't have that on my heart. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't put that on people. Like, no, that's awful. But I don't think that's what happened, though. Well, like, as far as what Rev said. And he said because of that, Shani went to her bathroom with a very sharp object and attempted to try to do that. And that she was in the hospital. The timeline don't even add up. He made a video. The day she lost her channel was on the 28th. And apparently it happened that day. And literally the next day, she was already back home. And supposedly she had been there for 2 days. And Rev had already been at the hospital for 17 hours, and they got back home, and he was filming it. It was just a whole bunch of bullshit. He was filming in the kitchen, trying to say, "I'm filming in the kitchen." Even, when people lie, they add way too much detail. And he was like, "Well, I'm filming in the kitchen because I like to film, and this is where I like to film." Bro, you never film in the kitchen. It's always in the living room. What are you talking about? You're not filming in the living room because she's there. Well, apparently someone called a wellness check. The cops showed up, and she was there. And that's why, not too long later, he got on and be like, "You won't believe this. Shani just showed up 20 minutes later." Now, how did she show up 20 minutes later when he had to get online and beg for $40 to be donated to get a cab ride home? Right? Exactly. She was there the whole time. This is a grifting scheme to get money from people. So anyway, that's the rundown. They lost her channel again. Thank God. He's saying she's probably never going to come back, guys. Hallelujah. Please. Like, they really think they're a big deal. There's a difference between being famous and infamous. This woman is infamous. Not a lot of people know about her. I mean, they think because they were in a Shane Dawson Jeffree Star documentary in 2019 for like a whole 2 minutes. And they really thought that, okay, I know this isn't a Shane video, but really quick, they really thought that Shane liked them, but they don't understand that the only reason Shane was watching them is for the mess of it all. Just like why anybody else watches them. It's not because he found it entertaining. We might have found it entertaining, but like the mess of it. Like, it's like why people watch reality shows. The mess of it all. You know what I mean? So anyways, so I just wanted to talk about that real quick. She lost her channel. I'm doing a little losing channel dances. Woo, boo, boo. No child abusers allowed on YouTube. Yeah. No child abusers allowed on YouTube. Get rid of them child abusers. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, so let's get back into this video. Get into what we're actually watching today. We are going to watch. Oh, really quick. Let's check this out. I about died laughing when I saw this. Let me see if I can find it. I gotta go back. Where's it at? Oh, please tell me it's there. Hold on. Let's see if it'll show up big on here. Over here on the left-hand corner under history, you see it says Nader Elscammy gets caught naked while he's taking a bath, and it's his channel. He's trying so hard. For those of you who don't know who Nader is, that is Foodie Beauty's quote unquote ex-boyfriend. They were literally he only said that it was serious or like a legit relationship for like literally 5 days, and that was so he could use her to go to Toronto. He basically used her for money. She paid his rent for like 10 months, and she like fell madly in love with him. She got addicted to drugs, doing drugs with him. I mean, the first night she hung out with him, she met him on some Tinder, I believe. And the first night she went to his house and hung out with him, like she picked up a random meth pipe off the floor and smoked it, and almost had an OD. I mean, she told the story. It's crazy. And this dude, he's been in jail for it was like a day less than 2 years. It was like a year and 364 days for stabbing his ex and like one of her family members or a friend. And and he's currently going to court for SA, and one of them was one of his viewers. I mean, he's a horrible human. He beats the woman he lives with now that he met through Foodie Beauty. She was a fan of Foodie Beauty, and she became a fan of his through Foodie Beauty, and now then he moved in with her, and there is video out there. It's called Sam's Bar Lounge on YouTube, where you can see the videos of him literally assaulting her. It is awful. So anyway, so he's a horrible person, and he is trying to do everything he can to get views, because ever since Foodie went off to Kuwait and got fake married Salah over in Kuwait, he is like literally no one cares about him anymore at all whatsoever, and he is trying so hard. So he literally did this video apparently taking a bath, and that's his thumbnail. I thought that was funny. I just happened to see it when I was getting on. So okay, let's go. Let's get to my videos. Where are we at? Here we are. Sorry. All right, there we go. Sorry, I have a YouTube channel that's my personal YouTube channel that you guys will never see, that I pay for premium for because I don't like the commercials. On my personal, now on this YouTube, I ain't paying twice for two separate channels, which I think I'm going to start using this one more as my personal, and then just switch my premium payment to over here, so when I'm reviewing videos and things like that, I don't have to worry about the commercials. But you know, for now, this is how it's going to go. So where it's still on the spot. It's right here. I took it back a few seconds where we stopped the night before. Excuse me. It was very unladylike. I apologize. With the things Michelle thought that she was really getting one off on Charlotte with this whole not paying her back child support for the couple years that she didn't have custody of her kids because she was working hard. She was a young adult, and Michelle was brought up Teen Mom, the 16 and Pregnant TV show, because she totally misunderstood what Charlotte said was she got married at 15, had her first child right before she turned 16. That's not when she lost custody of her children, because she lost custody of, I don't know if it was just two or all three, because I'm pretty sure she has three. Because I know she's talked about 2 daughters and a son, so I'm assuming she has 3. So therefore, obviously, she wasn't 16 years old, 17 years old when she lost custody of her children. Michelle's a moron. She lost custody of her children after she was going through a divorce. Some stuff, I don't know what happened. But Michelle and Ski made some horrible accusations. Oh, speaking of which, really quick before we get into this, we are going to watch, I'm going to do a separate video right after this from Ski's live, Toy Story Andy, as we like to call him over here on Farmer Fran. On where he actually apparently is blaming Michelle for everything and apologizing, and apologizes, I guess, kind of, but uses a but, I guess. I haven't really watched it, but just from what I've heard. And then there's also a screenshot that will show in that video. I don't know if it's real, but apparently it's something Michelle sent to somebody, and you can tell that that's, I don't know, maybe it's one Ski shows. Maybe she sent it to Ski. Maybe it's just something Ski shows. I don't know. Or Toy Story Andy, sorry. Maybe something he shows, the text messages basically where Michelle is telling this person all this stuff the stuff that Ski came online to say. And he basically blames Michelle for all of it and apologizes. So I'm going to do a separate video on that, and then we'll see the screenshot first, and then we'll review that. It's going to be a separate video, but for now, let's get into this. I don't want to be as long as I was, and I'm trying to make these shorter because I'm very long-winded. I talk a lot. If it's something if you don't like someone that talks a lot, I completely understand. You do not have to stay here. And YouTube is it's free. Like as far as it's like a free country, you can back out if you want. You are not forced to stay here. This is not a dictatorship. Do you, boo? You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm long-winded, but we're trying to make these videos a little bit shorter. I know. I just talk a lot. I apologize. But let's get into this.
Call someone fat. I'm not calling myself fat.
That keeps attacking you. You just wished last night for my daughter to be hard.
Yes, she did.
So I'm the one
She didn't wish
attacking
for it.
You?
She didn't wish for it. She said it was going to happen at 2 a.m. She even gave a specific time frame, a time of when it was said R wording was going to happen. Sure did.
My kids love me. My grandbabies love me.
As they should.
Can you say the same?
Oh, and really fast. I watched a little bit of Charlotte's stream. I think it was, I don't know if it was from today or last night. I can't remember which one it was. But basically, she stated she's no longer going to talk about. Hold on, everybody. I got my cigarette in my mouth. Hold on. I'm being so rude. I'm trying to, do multiple things. I'm trying to do multiple things at once. Anywho. But she basically said she's not going to speak on her name anymore. She's now blocked from Charlotte's channel. Good on Michelle. She had already said that before all this started, that she wasn't going to be talking about them like she used to. But then all this happened, which I think that is a great idea. I think Charlotte definitely, needs to take a step back from these individuals because they're. And that's what they wanted. And Michelle's going to take it like a win, but who the fuck cares? Charlotte's mental health is way more important than Michelle being on her high horse or whatever. And she's a low life. She's a low life. She really is. She's a low life. And Toy Story Andy's right there with her. They're literally neck and neck for YouTube, two of YouTube's biggest low lives. I mean, Nader, whatever, the one guy in the bathtub we were talking about, he's one of the ones that he's a horrible person too on these YouTube streets. There are a lot of them. I mean, you got like what? Bullhorn Betty, sorry, she's a horrible human. I mean, we can have different opinions, whatever, but she don't care about these kids. She wants to pretend like she found this kid, she found that kid. She has never found a kid. Now, I saw her, she was out walking, looking for that one boy the whole time. She didn't yell for his name till the very end. I think someone in her chat mentioned that she wasn't. And all she did was complain. It was like an hour, if that she walked through the woods. And then all she did was complain the whole time about the Sandspur sticker things getting stuck in her. Because first off, she didn't wear pants or boots like you should if you're planning on walking through the woods. Then the whole time she's talking about, I have a bad feeling about this, guys. I have a bad feeling something bad happened. Basically trying to insinuate that the parents were involved and that they're probably going to find the kid, in a ditch and blah, blah, blah. And that's what she was. And the sad part is that I really think that's what she was hoping for. She was hoping that little boy, because she was thinking, oh, another big story. That's money right there, baby. That's money. Because that's all she cares about. Because I believe it was the next day or later on that night he was found alive, because he was like 2 or 3 years old, I think. Yeah, but 2 to 4 years old. I know he wasn't above 4, so he was between 2 and 4 years old. And she kept trying to say, "There's no way." She literally was saying, "There's no way he would walk in these woods by himself. Kids are scared." Blah blah blah. She is insane. You can tell this woman has never had kids, never had children, because little boys are fearless. They're the ones you got to worry about. Now, most little girls aren't fearless. There are some that are, but little boys are fearless. They jump off things. They'll break a limb. They don't care. They're for fun and excitement. And if that's something that they say that maybe the family has taken walks in the woods as a family before it was off their property from where they live, that could be normal. my family did that when I was young. You know, we'd go for walks and hikes and things like that. It's a healthy activity to do. So if that little boy had already experienced that with his family and he's outside or whatever, he gets out of the house somehow, because you know little kids are sneaky as a motherfucker. He probably ran right in the woods, or maybe he was chasing a rabbit, or he saw a bird or something. You know what I mean? Like, but just thank God that little boy was found alive, because I really don't think poor Betty was. I think she was hoping that he wouldn't be. I hate to say that, but just the way she was acting. I don't know, guys. I have a really bad feeling about this. Well, apparently your intuition is off, all the way off. As a matter of fact, it's about 10 miles down the road. Or wait, I think she lives. I know she lives in Florida. I think it's like in Tampa on the west coast of Florida over there. Honey, it's about what 45, 50 miles now over there on the other side of I-4 in Daytona. That's where your intuition is. It's so far off. That's how far off it is. You're in Tampa. Your intuition's all the way in fucking Daytona. Shit, it might be all the way down to Miami, down in the south, or it might be at the very tippy top of Tallahassee. I don't know, but it's pretty fucking far off. I know my my geography. I know my geography, apparently. I don't even live in Florida, and I know my geography. Anywho, let's get back into this. But like I said, Charlotte's not going to, she's not going to be talking about Michelle anymore. And I think it's a great idea. I think that's good for, whatever. But yeah, as I said, there's a whole bunch of just shitty people on YouTube. A whole bunch of shitty people. Like, in my opinion, you can have your own, and you're welcome to your own opinion. I'm not going to bash anyone for their opinions, and I really hope you don't bash me for mine, because you know what? I will say one thing: our country is getting far too divided when it comes to any type of opinions at all on anything. It's not even just political, which I don't want to talk politics over here. But I'm just saying, it's not just political. It's just so divided on everything anymore, and people just want to fight. It's like people would rather be like, instead of saying, I respect your opinion, I just don't agree, or I respectfully disagree. Why can't we be like that anymore? That's how I am. If you have a different opinion, cool, whatever. We can still be friends. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I have family members. Hell, my husband has difference of opinion on a lot of things than me. But I love him. He's still my husband. You know what I mean? Whatever. But okay.
I'm calling that person fat. So do not attack me.
Honey, we'll attack you for whatever we want to attack you for.
After a creator.
Sorry, my internet did something funny. That's crazy. I got good internet.
For 4 months.
Stalking you.
And it ain't been 4 months either. So
no, it's only been a couple months, and she is not stalking you. First off, stalking you would be her following you everywhere. She doesn't go to your Facebook and watch whatever the fuck bullshit you do over there. She covers you every now and then, and she wasn't even doing it every day. It got to be every day because you guys were talking about her, and she was responding to what you guys were saying about her, and you guys were responding to what she's saying about you. I mean, it just came this back and forth that she obviously got sick of, and I agree. And I think a lot of our viewers got sick of it too, and she even brought that up in her stream, that her viewers, and she cares more about her viewers than she does talking about them. But stalking, come on, Michelle. Come on, Moochelle. That's what we're gonna start calling her. Moochelle.
Storyline.
That's one person.
Moochelle.
Do you understand me?
Moochelle.
Do you understand me? Please do not be mad.
I don't understand anything that you're saying right now.
Because she never makes sense.
I don't understand anything you're saying right now.
Yeah, because she never makes sense. Ever.
I also don't understand the few people that say, oh no, I should just let her say all of this and I should never give a response.
No, fuck that. You can do what you want.
I deserve whatever I get if I respond to her saying
no one deserves this bullshit. No one deserves this bullshit at all.
Mad at me for what I'm saying. When I was 15 years old, I was interested in 3 things: school, cheerleading, and my dad's horses. Every single day.
What she's gonna do is basically shame Charlotte for being married at 15 and having a child before she's 16. Even though some of her viewers, some of the people in her chat, tell her they had a child at 16 or they had a kid when they were teenagers, blah, blah, blah. But she still wants to compare herself to another woman who, for one thing, lived in a completely different environment, grew up in a completely different environment than her. And I'm not going to say where I live, but I will say this. It is a state that is quite similar to Kentucky. I put it that way, right? Not only in geological sense, but and the way people live, especially if you live in the country in very rural areas. Even in the state I live in and Kentucky, big cities are still have very rural areas. Like, you know what I mean? Right outside. Like, you literally go from like a big city to 20 minutes, you're like out in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's not unheard of, even today in 2023, for I mean, it's not as I say prevalent as it was even 20 years ago. I will say that, but it is common for teenage girls to either get married or have children as a teenager. Does that mean she's a horrible mother? No. Did she make mistakes, obviously, and learn from them and get her kids back and raise her kids and have obviously healthy, productive children? Yes. Like, people make mistakes, but Michelle's going to compare her life at 15 to someone who admits she grew up privileged, right? She's going to compare herself to someone who grew up in a rural area out in the country, and apparently the country, and they grew up poor. It makes no sense at all whatsoever. Especially if her dad that's one way you can tell that Michelle grew up privileged. Not only the way she acts, because she's entitled to everything and she's a spoiled fucking bitchy brat, but also she brought up that her dad had horses. Horses are very expensive. They're expensive to A, buy, and B, to take care of. Just to keep a horse is highly expensive. So you can tell there she grew up very privileged.
Single day. Oh, crazy Daisy. Mods, I told you you're going to have, oh, I know. She had, okay, I'm going to finish. Bye, crazy Daisy. I'm just
people are going in on her.
Going to delete you. Are you angry?
People are going in on her. Yeah,
when I was 15 years old, the only 3 things I was concentrating on is
oh my God. I doubt that. And I'm not listening, and I'm not trying to I wouldn't say this about someone who's currently 15 right now, or about anybody that's say at that age. Like, say if Michelle was 15 right now, I wouldn't say this, but she's a grown ass woman, and just by her behaviors and the way she acts and how she throws herself at men and constantly, and I'm not trying to sex shame here, but I guarantee that. Come on now, those were not the only 3 things. Even if you're not sexually active as a 15-year-old, most 15, I'd say the large majority of 15-year-olds are interested in relationships. That's when you start forming relationships. I know people that they started dating in high school, got married when they got out of high school, and are still married. You know what I mean? Like those type of relationships start around that age, or in high school at 15.
Junior varsity cheerleading squad.
Wait a minute.
Horses.
Hold on. Did she say junior varsity? Hold on.
That's it. That's it. I know.
Okay. Is she trying to make it seem like junior varsity is so cool? Hold on.
Totally going to delete you. Are you angry?
Oh my God.
Because when I was 15 years old, the only 3 things I was
not angry, just annoyed and disgusted.
Being on the junior varsity.
Yeah, she did. I figured.
Squad.
Junior varsity. Oh, that's a real feat there. My God, Michelle. Now, if she just said varsity at 15, I'd probably be impressed. But at 15, the junior varsity, unless you're really fucking good, if you're really good, then you get put on varsity. If you're not that good, you're on junior varsity. Right? I know that's how it was in my high school. There was junior varsity, and they had there was even a couple seniors on junior varsity. Usually it is for, freshmen and sophomores, right? But if you're, I had friends that were really good as freshmen and sophomores, and they were on varsity because they were that good. So don't think that's, a flex, bro. You were a high school cheerleader, which millions of women are. Listen, I'm not the most prissy chick in the world, but I was a cheerleader. Okay? Not in high school. But in last couple years of elementary school into junior high, I was a cheerleader. My God. It's not that big of a flex. She's junior varsity? The way she talks, and the way she always has to, enunciate her words. She's really trying to get the point across that I'm better than you. You are lowlife and trash. I have a nice house. I have a nice car. I have money. And then the next day she's enunciating, saying, I need cream for my foot. I don't have money. I need help. I need a cream, right? For my toe, right? The doctor said, right, that my toe might fall off, right? They might have to have I might have to have surgery, and they might have to cut off 1 inch of a digit. I think that's what she said. But she said something like that when the whole toe's the digit. I swear. Um, digit, right? And I need $300 for this cream, even though my insurance paid for it. TRICARE already paid for it, and I already have it, right? I can't.
And horses. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Ooh.
The only thing I spread my legs
Listen,
for.
ooh, this nasty bitch.
Let me go back up to this comment. I only speak for Kansas and Missouri, and you can get your driver's license at 14 if you live on a farm or live within, rural communities.
Yep.
It's restricted to farm.
I don't know if it's this way anymore. I know it, it is restricted. Like, I believe it's the same way around here. But you can only drive it, like, on the farm, around the farm area, or farm work related, because a lot of times you have to have, to work the heavy machinery as well. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, certain vehicles and people on farms will drive trucks around. But also, when I was younger, I mean, this is back in, like, the late 80s, early 90s, there was a young lady who, her and her mother went to church with my grandparents. And she was 14 and had her driver's license, and she was able to get it early because it was only her and her mom. Her mom was a single mom, and her mom was blind. So she was able to get her license early because at the time in the state of North Carolina, I said it, in the state of North Carolina, I lived there at that time. I don't live there now because of that. And obviously, the state is not anything like Kentucky. I can tell you that. And in some ways it is, but not like, you know. But you could get you had to be 16, get your permit at 15, 16-year license. But she was able to get it early because her mom was blind. Is that way she could drive her mom to the grocery store, pay bills, run errands, do whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, sorry.
In school, yes. And here's another thing. I did not live in a city to where you could just
imagine
walk
that
to work or
she
whatever.
Yes, she lived out in the country.
Always raised in the country.
Okay.
Always.
Because here's another thing. Michelle's also going to harp on the fact that because whenever she talked about why she didn't pay the back child support right away, like she did pay it off eventually, but whenever she didn't when she had lost custody of her kids, the reason why she didn't pay because she was first off doing everything she could, following all the stipulations and following all the rules, doing everything she had to do to get her children back, which that's what she was supposed to do. Now here's the thing: if she wouldn't have done that, she would get bashed for not doing what she was supposed to do, right? That Michelle probably wouldn't. And Michelle's such a hypocrite, she still would bash her, even though Michelle gave up her own children. That's what blows my mind about all of this. But she's basically going to say something about, because Charlotte made the reference that she had a car note she had to pay for. She had a car note when she got her kids back. This is when she didn't have her kids. She was paying. She had, she worked 2 jobs, but she still had to pay, for her house, for utilities, her car note, car insurance, all that. And because of where she lived, there's not a lot of job offerings, which like I said, I understand. The state I currently live in is very similar to that. We do not have a lot of job opportunities around here unless you're a doctor or you're in like some type of trade, like truck driving, any type of mill or factory. There's not even a lot of those around here anymore. There was, up until like the 80s and 90s, they started closing down. I'm sure in Kentucky, where she's at, is very similar. But you have to have a car. You got to work to pay. That's what she did, and she has to have a car to get from point A to point B. And Michelle's gonna try to say, I'm sure she had friends, and then finally you'll see. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
So it's not like I could just go get on a bus, right?
Exactly.
And go back and forth.
There probably not even be buses where she lives.
Who was going to watch my kids when I did that?
Exactly.
Tell me.
The only thing I spread my legs for was to put in between a saddle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The only thing I spread my legs for.
She's such a horrible person.
Was to put in between a horse and ride them.
In between a horse, you
I
mean to
think
put
you
a horse
spread
in between your legs.
all right, but
yeah, exactly, Charlotte. Amen.
I don't think it's what you're saying it was for.
Oh my God. Well, if she didn't then, she has enough since then.
I didn't fuck anyone. Thank you. I do what I want.
Oh my God. So what if you didn't?
I didn't fuck anyone.
My God.
I need to be 5150. Okay, well,
yes,
let's get to the 5150 because I haven't hit that yet, right? I didn't hit the 5150 yet, darling, old Earth. Didn't hit that yet. And I sure
is he gonna try to talk about what she said about Charlotte being
by any of the people that I burned
last year?
By their families.
Proven
They've all respected me. All of their.
Oh, really? Really? They all respected you. Okay, then how did you lose your children, Michelle?
Amen.
How did you lose your children? And from what I'm told, and this is only what I've been told, they don't even want to talk to you. So
I wouldn't either. If I was
I'm having
especially
a real
if I was her daughter,
right now.
Especially if I found out. Especially if her daughter is a teenager. From what I understand, her daughter has access to the internet. Her daughter, and she does not think about any of this because she's so fucking selfish. Her daughter's friends have access to the internet. Not even friends, but schoolmates. People that probably don't like her because you know how kids can be. They'll find anything they can to like bully or pick on someone for. And here's this woman telling all their family business, making up even some lies, and admitting that she was a escort. She was an escort. And I don't mean like one of those trucks that escort the big rigs down highways with the lights on them. Not like that. I mean like an escort for getting paid for dates, quote unquote. And admitted that she used her daughter's name as her escort name. This woman used her daughter's name, not only to her first name, middle name too, as her escort name. And this woman thinks that she has the right to put anyone down for mistakes they made when they were like 22, 21 years old, and then busted their asses to repair those mistakes. She is not lost. She does need 5150.
Listening to her try to tell me what happened in my life when she had no idea of the circumstances, but then building her life up like everything was so great.
Exactly.
When she's already told us how bad her family was.
Her dad was abusive and a raging alcoholic, and her and her mom don't even talk. But she calls her mom horrible names, but she doesn't understand her kids look at her like she looks at her mom.
They did not take my children away. And as I've addressed earlier.
They didn't take them away, you just gave them away?
As I addressed earlier.
You just gave them away. Okay, that makes it better.
Correct. As I addressed earlier.
I was a single mom taking... No. Everything you say comes out of your mouth is a lie.
It is. That's a fact.
And Deb, thank you so much. No, I shouldn't say give it away. Now listen.
If you say you have children and you realize that you cannot properly take care of those said kids, and the best thing for them would be put them up for adoption or this or that or whatever, hey, that is what I think that is an admirable thing to do, and I do not disagree with that 100 at all whatsoever. But she has tried to say that her mom had money and basically took them from her or like used or something. She's told so many different stories that I can't remember. But the thing is, her mom raised her one son. I know that for a fact. I believe it's the one that's in prison that she tells all his business to everybody. It's sad. And then talks shit on him. And then the next day we'll call him her baby boy, my baby boy. My God. And the next day she's throwing him under the bus. But then because all her children she's had with different men. Like, cause she's been married like 3 or 4 times, I believe. And she did there was one child I'm not even going to bring up. If you know Michelle, you know that story. I will never talk about that on this channel. Ever. I don't care who you are. I will never speak on something like that because that is some of the worst shit you could ever go through, and I will never, ever, as a woman, I will never, even someone as shitty as her, because she is a shitty, shitty human who constantly brings it up herself, constantly when she wants to use it as pity me, and it's disgusting, yes, but I will never speak on that on this channel. So anyways, her daughter, she had with the other guy, I mean, who know, I don't, and who has, I think actually has custody of her daughter, and I believe that the stepmom adopted her, I think is what she said, adopted her daughter, and Michelle might not, maybe that's why she doesn't speak on child support for her, because maybe she doesn't have to pay it, because maybe she signed her rights away. But that type of, like, the point I was making is, if you, like I said, if you know that you just aren't able, especially like if you're young, like maybe what Charlotte could have done at that age, at 16 years old, just having a baby, could have easily been like, I'm 16, I'm not ready, let me find a family who cannot have children, who will give this baby a wonderful life. She could have done that, but no, she raised her kids. Like, what the fuck? But Michelle was like, no, what Michelle did was she got rid of him so she could go live life and party. That's what she did. So she could find another man. She gave her oldest to her mom to raise, and then she gets married to this guy and has another kid, right? And then they get divorced. We're not talking about that child. They get divorced, and then she gets married to another guy and has another kid, and then they get divorced, and then she doesn't have nothing to do with that kid or her son her mom raised. So it's like, and then she went off to get married and date other people, be an escort and party or whatever, because her one kid's still a minor. It just blows my mind. Like, you gave your children away, lady. How do you think, you think it's a flex that you're sitting there saying, I did not lose my kids were not taken away. They were not taken away. I gave them up. I gave them up, right? I gave them up, right? Because I'd rather go to festivals and crowd surf, right? So I could be in a shitty documentary, right? Like, I would rather be an escort, right? And, like, suck some dick for a steak, right? Like, not trying to say, listen, if you're an escort, I love you. I am not judging. I think that's the oldest profession in the book, and I think it should be legalized in a healthy setting like it is in Las Vegas, Nevada, or whatever. I really do. I do. So I'm not, it's just this woman is a horrible piece of shit, especially use her daughter's name. But yeah, let's go.
Made a video supporting me, and that means a lot, Deb. Thank you so much.
You deserve all the support, Charlotte. All the support for this bullshit, at least.
So yeah, see, this is what gets me, right? According to a few creators on YouTube, I'm supposed to sit here and I'm supposed to take this, because if I sit here and if I say anything in response back, then I deserve everything I get. And that's what I don't understand.
You sure don't deserve any of it. Fuck them.
I did not even start covering this train wreck
she is a train
months
wreck.
and months and months.
She's that train wreck that happened in Ohio a few months back.
Her and Molly fell out. And I still tried my best to be fair to her.
Yes, Charlotte has.
I agree, Locks.
She really has. She's tried to give her.
Be stopped.
It's all been because has she made fun of her a little bit? Yes, but we all have, because Moochelle makes it so easy to do. Like, she makes it so easy to make fun of her. But Charlotte has also tried to give her legit advice, and not in an asshole type of way, like with her sweet voice, southern voice. She'll be like, Michelle, I'm gonna give you some advice. Now you don't have to take it. And she's like, it has even complimented her when she thought Michelle deserved a compliment. You know what I mean? She is like, it has never been all about 100% bashing Michelle. If she thought Michelle was right in a situation, she would speak on it. But I mean, that didn't happen very often, because Michelle usually, isn't right. But hell, sorry, I had a brain fart. But she has complimented her. You know what I mean? She has, like, given her grace And the fact that Michelle wants to, what it is if you're not saying something nice about Mooch, and you're not sucking her ass 24/7, then you are a hater, you're a stalker, you're a horrible person. Because she has this deep insecurity deep within her where she wants everyone to like her, and she wants everyone to be in awe of her, and she wants to be better than everybody else. You get what I'm saying? She's literally like Regina George and Mean Girls, just like the character, like her personality is what I mean. She's literally, the way she talks about people, she's like that too. But that's like her personality. You can tell how it's like she's stuck in high school mode as well. She seriously acts like the high school mean girl, and she's in her 50s. It's pathetic, really.
Tell us what you really did to be ostracized from everyone in your life. Yeah, I would like to know.
Yeah. Well, we know it. We don't have to know. We can tell by the way she acts. People just got sick of her bullshit. No one wants to deal with. Who would want to deal with this on a day-to-day basis?
So
maybe
if
you should not spread your leg.
So if it was so hard as an adult,
right?
Don't you think it would also be hard as a teenager?
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a fair question, right?
100%. But apparently you should have 16 and pregnant money.
Like,
what the fuck? This one's insane.
I can't even remember the word used for it, right?
Right?
Not
right.
RAPE. What is it?
Oh my God.
God, I've never. Yeah,
oh
I've never even. What is it? It's not incest. It's not.
Oh,
what is it?
Lord.
Not
what is she
contributing
talking
to
about?
minor. But no wonder why they thought you were a POS.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, thought I was a POS.
They thought she was a POS because she had sex as a married 16-year-old, 15-year-old. My God, Mooch,
I think
you're insane.
Confusing me with you. Because I have access to my grandbabies. I have access to my children.
And they love her.
I talk to my daughter 2 or 3 times a day, see my son every day.
She lives right next door to her son.
Right now. But, yeah, I just... this one has a lot of nerve. A lot of nerve. But I'm not supposed to react to none of this.
Just commentating on your comments.
No, you're not commentating.
No,
you're picking and choosing things that she said, twisting it around, and turning it into your own narrative.
I was taken in by my grandparents too. My parents did not help me.
Oh God! Now all of a sudden she got taken in by her grandparents.
Took me in as well. My grandparents raised me.
But her parents had money, right? She was always riding her dad's horses, but her grandparents raised her.
The custody battle was my mother trying to prove something after she married someone wealthy. She wanted to raise her grandchildren because she didn't raise me.
Well, yeah, she probably wanted to raise her grandchildren because God only knows what you were attempting to do.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't raise my sister and I, and so when she got older, she's like, maybe I can do a do-over.
Maybe that's true.
I can do a do.
Listen, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's true, because honest to God, you can only imagine what kind of person raised this thing to turn out the way she did. So I'm sure her mom probably is a big piece of shit. I mean, think about it. That for a set of parents to raise this, for their child to be a product of this, to turn out like this, there's some deep-rooted, fucked up shit from back in her childhood. Like, her mom probably is the same exact way. Problem is, Mooch doesn't see the fact that she's literally everything, and just like everything she's described her mother to be, right? So, oh God, I just said right. Sometimes I'll pick up on things. If I hear someone saying something a lot, I'll pick up on it, and it'll just automatically start coming out of my mouth, and God knows I don't mean to do it. I apologize. So, I'm going to apologize now for all the other times I might say it on accident, and I'll catch myself. But I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, her mom. Yes, her mom. Yeah, her mom probably is a big piece of shit. But the thing is that's why you fight for your kids. I can tell you right now, it is extremely hard. No matter how much money someone has. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. But usually judges, I guess it depends on where you live and who you are, I will say that. But most of the time, that's not normal circumstances. and it depends on, I guess, well, I'll say with Michelle's situation, because she is a privileged white woman. Okay, let's put it that way. It is very hard to take a child from their mother. Someone has to prove serious, serious neglect and abuse for a mother to lose their children. Now, will they be taken away for a little bit and then get them back? Yes, that can happen multiple times. I mean, hell, look at Shanny, the one we talked about at the beginning of the video. Look at her, for instance. 4 or 5 times, I believe. I really think that this last summer was the 5th time that her children had been taken away from her. And the only reason the time before that she got them back is because this guy in where did they live? Was it Missouri or Minnesota? One of those states. I can't remember which one. Where her parents lived. This guy Chris, he has a YouTube channel. He's even been interviewed by Shanny reaction channels. So I'm not like doxing him. His name's Chris, but he literally married Shanny. Her own parents said this when they were interviewed, because they came out and did an interview because of all the horrible lies and disparaging shit that she made up about her parents, because she always wants to be the victim. Anyways, it came out this guy legit married her very quick once they started dating to give her a stable home, to be able to do that. Worked. She never kept jobs apparently. So she could have a stable home environment to bring her children to, even though she was still crazy and did crazy shit. That's why they ended up getting divorced. She attacked him, abused or attacked her brother-in-law, did all kinds of crazy shit, and they got divorced. But even Shanny kept getting her kids back, kept getting their children back. So it's very hard for a mother. I mean, you have to prove some, like I said, some serious neglect and abuse for a child to be permanently removed from a mother. And this woman, not once, mind you, but twice, she lost custody of her children. 2 separate children from 2 separate fathers. The oldest, her mother got custody of. But she's saying, here she is contradicting herself, because I just realized she said earlier her kids were not taken from her. But her mom, she just said her mom had something to prove and her mom wanted to raise her son. So that means her son was taken from her. Does she not understand she either signed over rights to her mom because she wanted to be free and she uses that as an excuse, or her mom went after her, went to court, and her mom got custody. Right? So it's either way, Michelle isn't the hero or the victim in this situation.
Over. That's what happened to me.
Oh my Lord. No one cares.
Yeah, all these stories that she tells, each one is different than the one before.
Exactly.
Speaking of which.
Exactly.
No. When I got a little bit older, my mother paid my bills. I took care of my children. I took care of my children until Jonathan died. I filed for divorce.
See, that's her one son she was talking about.
That is when my mother stepped in my life.
Oh, and then somebody
that was her oldest son. Her youngest one she didn't take care of.
Who it is?
Her youngest one's still a kid.
Comment. They said, Charlotte, I've heard you say bad things about Methel's children.
No, she hasn't. No, she has never.
It's just fiction.
Yep. See, I must have missed that stream.
If anything, I have told people to please stop bringing up the baby.
I have heard her. I have heard her say that.
I got mad when Methel here was airing out her son's dirty
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Internet. That's all I've ever said.
That's why
Methel's children.
That was the last thing that Charlotte was said about her, was about her
using
Michelle,
her daughter's name,
about Mooch talking about her son and bashing him, and it upset Charlotte so much she made a stream about it.
Even
and then after that it was when Mooch pulled all this shit, talking about Charlotte's kids.
8 to 5 on my non-existent life that I did not take care of myself, and I bartended 4 nights a week.
Of course,
I would get home at 5 o'clock. I would change my clothes. The babysitter would meet me at my apartment, and I had to be to work on shift at 6 o'clock. I would see Joseph a total of 35 minutes, 4 nights a week. Seriously.
Okay.
That is a single mom working 2 jobs, and his father did not.
Congratulations.
At the time.
Great, you did
And
what
I
you were
just don't
supposed to
believe a
do.
word of it.
I mean, I really don't
I
either.
don't believe a word of it. Only because we've heard so many different stories, right?
I agree.
I wasn't born with rich parents or grandparents. I was born in the South, in the country.
Facts.
I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Neither were my children. I did a lot of messed up things, but I tried to learn from them. And eventually, I'm glad that I did do some of those messed up things because it helped me grow. And it helped me actually acknowledge
you're an
what
adult
I did
woman,
wrong,
yes,
and
raise
try to
your
work
children
on what I was,
exactly
what to do to make it right.
That is a great way. You know what? I was gonna stop that. That is a great way to look at it. See, what a strong woman. I mean, she looks at it as it would. I wouldn't even dare say a positive in her life because it was obviously a horrible and probably a very traumatizing experience for her and the children. But she's has decided to make it a positive because of the life she ended up having with her children, and because of what she experienced, she was able to grow, mature, learn from it, and probably do a better job raising her children than she probably would have before. Honestly, because that was probably a hard hit. She was young, so I'm sure she probably had to do parenting classes or something like that, and she probably learned a lot. It was able to, she had to mature extremely quick and grow probably further, even more than what most early 20 something year olds, late teens or whatever would go through. So it's like, she became a better person. Then you have Mooch here, who, instead of looking at anything that she's ever done wrong, because she never does wrong, it's always everybody else's fault, the situation she's in. She's so much like Shanny. It is ridiculous how much she's like Shanny. The only difference is their looks. Complete opposites. Visual. But on the inside, they are absolutely the same human beings. They really are. They really are. Michelle's abusive. She admitted that she tried to shoot, that her ex, the guy she's divorced with now, that she shot a gun the bullet went over his shoulder. And you have Shanny abusing Rev, and then you have the situation with their kids and how there's always something wrong with them, going on with them. They need help, begging for money. And then when Shanny did have money, before she blew all of Rev's money, she acted like Michelle was showing everything off. Oh my God. They're so much alike. Ugh. But complete opposites of look. I mean, it's like literally Tom and Jerry. Like, one's a mouse, a small rodent, and the other is a big furry cat. Even though I wouldn't call Shanny a cat. Well, I guess Tom and Jerry wasn't a very good comparison. Oh well, sorry.
It took me a long time, but I did.
I gotta really learn how to edit. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna work on it.
My mind's still blown, though.
I have 3 days off.
People want to
start this week.
This person.
I'm gonna teach myself how to edit. Oh, I'd never defend this woman. Ugh.
You understand?
Do you understand? No, we don't understand. We're morons.
I'm gonna commentate a little
Apparently,
bit.
you didn't understand a word
Charlotte
said
last night.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You didn't understand a word you heard last night.
It's really hard when you're paying minimal rent and you had a car note.
She didn't say minimal rent.
Really? You couldn't pay child support? Why did you have a fucking car note?
Oh
did you
my
not
God.
have any friends? Could you not pick up the
now
phone
she's trying to say, where's your friends at? Where's your friends?
I can't afford a car. I can't
because
afford insurance.
Because it's her friend's responsibility every day to drive when they have lives of their own, Mooch. God, see, you might mooch off people. You would mooch. That's a perfect name for you, because what you were asking her to do is to mooch. If she would have done that, and you found out she didn't have a car, you know what you'd be saying? You'd be saying, well, now, why didn't you make sure you had a car to ride them babies around in, and instead of begging people for rides and mooching for rides off people, why didn't you have a car? Them babies, were they stuck at home all the time because you didn't have a car, unless, your friend was free enough to come get them? That's exactly what Mooch would be saying. And the thing is, just because Mooch would do something like that, she would mooch off people for rides all the time. It's no one's responsibility to get someone else to work. They have their own lives, their own jobs to go to. Every once in a while, fine. And maybe if you live in a small town or your friends right next door and you can drive them to work on the way to work. But when you live out in the country and you got to drive probably, 5 miles up the road and then a whole mile down the lane to get to the property, you know what I mean? When you live somewhere like that, it's not that easy to ask for rides. And so especially when you're working 2 jobs to take care of it. God, this woman is beyond moronic. My God, she's an imbecile. I don't understand. Swear to goodness, when God was giving out common sense, I tell you what, he saw her. She must have missed the common sense machine before she got spit out, because she did not get passed through that motherfucker. This chick has none at all. God, she's stupid.
I need to support my kids. No, you.
Excuse me, you dumb bitch.
Oh,
okay,
there you
let
go,
me explain a little something to you.
Tell her.
I got
Speak
behind on
it.
child support, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the
Speak
reasons
on
why
it.
I got behind was because when I was fighting to get my children back, they don't just give them back to you right away. Right?
No, they don't.
They
You gotta
give you
prove
time
yourself.
with them, then they increase the time, and they increase the time.
And you got
I
to do
had
classes.
to have a home. I had to have a roof.
Yep, you have to have a home. And then a lot of
had to
times they'll
have
even want
beds
you to
for
have a
them.
car.
Had to have a car
Yes.
to be able to get a job to get back and forth to work.
And I will say this too, depending on where you live, if you live in a rural area like that, that might be one of the stipulations that you have a car, or very soon after having the children get one. Because say if there's an emergency and you live out in the middle of nowhere, I mean, anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? They will want or get the kids regular doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, because they want to make sure they stay on top of that type of shit. They want you to get your kids to the dentist and the doctor and all that stuff, and to be able to make sure you're able to get to the store to get groceries. A lot of times that will be a stipulation, is to be able to have proper transportation, on a regular basis for your children. And God, this woman, Mooch, is beyond me with this argument. She really thinks, my God, she really thinks she's doing something here. I can't take life.
Had to have food for them, right? Had to have all that.
Amen. Yes, you did.
So Kentucky does not pay well when it comes to jobs.
I'm sure it does not.
So
especially because I know where I live.
I live from paycheck
it's very
to
similar to
paycheck
Kentucky.
to paycheck. So by the time you consider an electric bill, a water bill, rent, and a car payment, and not even on a brand new car, it was a used car.
Oh, I'm sure. Who can afford a
It took
brand
every
new car,
penny
especially
I had,
right?
just to be able to take care of them when I was transitioning into getting them back. So what do you do? What would you rather me to have done, Michelle? What would you rather to be have done?
Nothing. You did
Say,
exactly what you were
no,
supposed
no.
to do.
Just that's
what
I
she
don't
would have
need the
done.
kids back. I don't.
That's
want
what
them back.
she would. That's because that's what she would have done.
Just let me go ahead and work and
That's
pay
what
my
she
car
would have
payment,
done.
because kids don't matter, really.
Right. That's what she would have done. She'd have had
No,
more
I
money
was
for
more
herself
worried
to go out
about keeping a
partying,
roof over their head,
to be able to go to
feeding
festivals and crowd
them,
surf.
taking care of them.
Preach it.
So, forgive me if I didn't worry about child support that was building up while I didn't have them, Michelle.
Oh.
See what I mean? This right here is exactly what I mean.
She's crazy.
Right here.
Yep. Agreed.
You didn't do that, did you? No. We needed to have a car note. Why did you pay a car note instead of support your children?
She did support her children.
Right?
No, it's not right.
You
It's
dumb
not right.
bitch. Because
Charlotte
I live
is
in
bad.
the country.
Exactly.
Without a car,
But
I couldn't have gotten back
Mooch
and
doesn't
forth
understand that.
to
Hell, even
work.
if she did, if Mooch understood that, she'd
couldn't
still
have
expect
gotten
people to come
back
pick
and
her
forth
up.
to work. I would have
she's a
not
Mooch.
had money to feed my children.
We get it, Charlotte.
To
Unfortunately,
pay
Mooch
the
doesn't.
rent, to keep a roof over their heads.
Mooch is an idiot.
So that, to me, came first.
Yep. Amen. Hallelujah.
Car note instead of supporting your children. If your kids are your life, if they're your life and you love them so much.
This is the thing. She
You
can't
love them so much.
understand how
Why the fuck
someone
didn't you
with
support your
kids will be their
in
lives.
St. Paul? Instead of paying a car note, because I knew lots of people that don't have cars.
Yes, in cities
Why
where they can
didn't
get there,
you,
use
instead
Pat and
of
Charlie or a cab or a
buying
bus or
your
an Uber?
Tito's and whatever else you
Exactly.
buy, why didn't you
What
put
was that?
money on your son's books, Michelle?
Oh, exactly.
People that don't own cars and they get rides from people, but no. You had to have a car and a car note. You did. You couldn't call your friends for rides. Your car was more important to your kids, as you stated last night.
That's not what
You're
she
a lying
stated.
bitch, Michelle.
Yes,
she is.
You're
a lying bitch. First of all, clean out your ears.
Exactly.
Obviously, you had too much Tito's last night or whatever. She chose being a hoe over being a mother. Absolutely tragic. Absolutely.
She sure the fuck did.
And I guess she thinks that I lived in some big city to where I could just go out and hop on a bus, and get to work.
Or walk to work.
Get on back home and all that, when I literally lived 30 minutes from my job. And that was just one way.
Exactly. See?
Buses didn't run out there. They still don't run out there. Buses don't run out here where I live now. She's making herself
I'm sure the thing is too. Listen,
ignorant.
I guarantee where she lives, where Mooch lives, the buses don't even run out there, because her dumbass has showed everybody where around the area she lives in, and her house and everything. It's out in, like, I know. I think it might be in a kind of like a what you would call a subdivision. There's a couple houses, but she has nothing but like woods behind her house and like hills and mountains and shit. I don't call those mountains. I call them hills. But so I guarantee a bus don't even go out to her house. You'd think she'd understand that some people live in areas where there's not a bus, so they have to rely on having a car of their own. But no, she's
uneducated.
She's
with
very
every
uneducated.
Sentence that comes out of her mouth.
That is a fact.
You stated this last night.
That's not what she stated. She stated she had to pay for a car.
You're paying minimal rent, and
she never said minimal.
I didn't say when. No.
Nope,
when did I say I was paying minimal rent?
She didn't.
Because I still remember what I had to pay for
She said
rent. I never once stated I paid minimal rent.
Groceries to take care of the kids.
Not supporting your children.
Oh my God. She did when she got
to have a car, and you shouldn't have had a car note.
Oh my God.
Taking care of your kids and supporting them should have been your top priority.
It was. That's why she had the car note. Boom. Did you hear?
No,
wait.
Boom.
Hold
boom,
on.
Bitch.
Hold
boom,
on.
Boom,
hold on.
Bitch.
Let's go back. We gotta get back.
To me for a minute, Linda.
Ooh, hold on. Hold on.
You stated this last night.
She thinks she did something. Watch.
I was paying minimal rent. You're paying minimal rent and you're working a job. What?
I didn't say when. No.
When
did I say I was paying
she really
minimal
she
rent?
Did something
because
here.
I still remember what I had
Lord.
to
We're almost done,
pay
guys.
for rent. I never once stated I paid minimal rent.
Mitch is supporting your children. You didn't deserve to have a car, and you shouldn't have had a car note, because taking care of your kids and supporting them should have been your top priority. Boom.
How are you? No, boom,
something.
Boom, bitch. Boom, boom, bitch. You listen to me for a minute, Linda.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
You
Linda.
listen to me for a minute.
She said you listen to me, Linda.
Without that car and without that home, I could not have gotten custody of my children back.
Screaming from the mountaintops, Charlotte. Tell her. No,
Do
she
you
don't.
need
she
me
don't.
to draw you a picture?
Yeah, go ahead. Apparently she needs an artiste to make it to like a little comic cartoon for her to understand.
I have about had it with you.
And that whole boom, oh God, that kills me. I think this is pretty much.
I think I finally figured it out. And I do think, I'll say this
and then we'll stop.
I do think by going in that other creator's live tonight and trying to hear this creator out, this creator did make a little sense. And it got me thinking. I know what I did and what I didn't do.
Exactly.
I know what I've said and didn't say.
Hallelujah.
So, all I'm doing for her now is letting her get me worked up. Because I don't like anybody talking stuff about me and my kids when they don't know what happened when they weren't there.
Exactly.
And
make
I'm
up
giving
grotesque
her
lies like they have.
She does not deserve.
No, she doesn't. Nope. She don't deserve it.
Boom. Boom.
Boom. Boom.
Let's discuss your life.
Oh my God. Boom. Boom.
I'm going to soft eBay. I don't give a fuck about money. I'm not even going to drop my cash out.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Did she just say, should she really just say that?
Absolutely nobody believes that. Just by you saying that, you're hoping that somebody will send you cash.
Oh, 100%.
Please remember that you know who you are. You're a beautiful person and mother, and your kids know that they're loved and everything their mom has done for them. Thank you, Heather. Thank you.
See how sweet she is?
And you know, my son told me this a couple months ago. One of the best memories.
Oh, I love this story.
That he has.
I talked about it in
yesterday's
video.
This.
His favorite
it was
memory.
Right when I was trying to get him back and stuff, and I was working. It was taking every dime I had. But anyway, that year he was into wrestling.
As most little boys, especially in
that
these
little boy
Appalachian
would call
areas.
me like 2 and 3 times a week.
Appalachian areas.
And he would tell me about these different wrestling men that he wanted. So I would go out. I even drove to Tennessee to try and find one of these wrestling men because they were sold out around here. Well, he kept changing his mind from week to week. And I know I probably shouldn't have done it at the time, but I just wanted him to be happy. So by the time Christmas got here that year, he had an entire, like, what do you call them? Hefty garbage bags full, wrapped. They were wrapped of wrestling toys. They were full. And that was one of the best memories that, you know, he thanked me for. Because, and I didn't even realize that it was that much, you know, that it meant that much to him. I just wanted to make my kids happy.
And that's what moms are there for.
And that did. That,
and that's what we're supposed to do.
That meant a lot to me.
Oh,
a lot to me.
Isn't that a sweet story? Then it just breaks my heart. You have this mooch over here saying these horrible things about this woman that has never said a quarter of what Mooch has said about her. She has never said a quarter of that about Mooch.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you so very much.
Let's see if she's going to watch any more of this video.
Give me just a second, y'all.
I can't remember if there's any more.
When it comes to criticizing someone for losing their children.
But you need to be put in your little place.
Oh, honey, you did not put anyone in their place.
You think, I had a hard life. Do you not know the things I've been put through?
Oh my God, here we go.
Do you not know?
It's always about Michelle. It's always about Mooch.
Where was I doing on festivals? I was.
Oh, I thought you had the perfect life,
right,
Michelle? Didn't she tell you she had the perfect life?
Oh, absolutely. When she first came out around on Molly's on these panels and coming on Molly's panel, it was always about
concerts. Remember that documentary?
Everything
was
her life was so perfect.
A song was written for you. Didn't you have freaking? Was it Matchbox 20?
Matchbox 20.
I don't know whoever it was.
The guitar player.
Candlebox. Didn't you have the whole band?
She did say that at first, but when she brought the receipts, it was only the guitar player who no one even knows his name.
You know, you had the perfect life. So make up your mind. Which is it, Michelle?
Which
is it?
Neither. Just crazy.
I was actually supporting my children.
Where?
I supported my children 100,000%.
No, you have not.
I sent gifts every Christmas, every holiday, every birthday, everything.
You did, or you do? Because you still have, they still have kids.
I truly do. For
you
your
still, and you have one that's still a
I
minor.
hope you did.
What about Christmas presents still to this day? Just because if they turn 18 doesn't mean.
I've got canceled checks. That my
canceled
mother
checks. Here's she brought this up. I brought this up yesterday.
Refused to cash.
They wouldn't be canceled if she refused to.
Chrissy.
No, see, that doesn't make sense. Because I'm gonna call her out on that right now. That don't make sense. Here's why that don't make sense. She would not have the canceled checks unless her mom cashed them. That's how you get the canceled checks back. The bank cashes them, and then they send it back to you. I don't think they do that anymore. They might. I don't know. Maybe if you write a lot of checks, but it's something that was very prevalent back before. Like everyone had a debit card at their disposal, at their fingertips. You know what I mean? Back when checks were still popular, and for her to have a canceled check, her mother would have had to cash it. So that makes 0 cents Mooch. Again, you're making 0 cents.
She had to have a car to drive to work. You know how many people work that don't have cars?
Oh my God. See, this is where people in our chat are starting to challenge what she's saying.
Oh, you can't rely on a friend every single day. Well,
exactly.
You know what? How many people don't have cars and they have jobs?
Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Charlotte, she's living with regret. So she's trying to shame you for a time that you showed your children, and the state that you love your kids.
Absolutely.
I think you're right on that. I really do. That's a good point.
Yep.
That's
exactly what it is.
Point. Hey, Chrissy.
And she's trying to find any little fault she can.
It takes a lot more than a birthday
because she is so envious of the fact that Charlotte was able to. That's exactly what it is. Michelle is so envious, or Mooch is so envious over the fact that Charlotte was able to do and accomplish what Mooch could not. She is. She hates it. And she hates that Charlotte is able to call her out on her shit. Especially, like, her talking about her kids and how she constantly puts down her son and the way she constantly brings up her other child constantly. It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, as a mother, be able to have those conversations, because you should. But especially when you're already someone that has become infamous on the internet for all the wrong reasons, and you don't want people to talk about it, then don't bring it up yourself. Especially when the only times you're ever trying to bring it up is when you want to be the victim or sympathy, or someone saying something bad about you, so then you got to bring up that story for a reason, for some reason. And there's always another way. There's always different reasons that you're bringing it up, and it's always something bad, like when NTN was trying to apparently burn that bin or whatever of stuff in it. And that involved that one child. I mean, and that's why she shot over his shoulder to get him to stop. And he tried to catch it on fire, and it's always something. So to be like, look at me, I feel bad for me. Like, mothers absolutely should be able to talk about their children in a situation like that, 100%. But in this situation, no. Especially when she's constantly telling other people not to bring it up. Well, you're the one that brought everyone's attention. And do I think it's wrong when people talk about it? Absolutely. 100%. I wouldn't. I won't. But when she's already talked, she's opened up that discourse, that discussion, by even bringing it up herself.
When it comes to children, how does canceled checks happen when no one cashed them?
Exactly.
Good question.
Full-time jobs. Paradise, stop making the excuses. Do you know how many people don't have cars, have never had a car in their life?
Oh my God.
Have never had a driver's license in their life? And
because they live in big cities.
Stop making excuses for a deadbeat parent.
No, what?
Now.
I'm the deadbeat.
What?
I'm the deadbeat.
But I couldn't even talk. I can't believe Mooch had the nerve to call someone else a deadbeat parent. Oh my God.
That's almost laughable. Honestly.
It is. Honestly, I honestly,
I'm not going to sit
that.
here and let her know what all I do for my kids, but I'm the deadbeat parent.
Right.
You're the one.
Says the one who talks horrible stuff about his
child. He could cut off his thing and bleed to death.
Yep.
And you're the one that gets mad when your child was put in jail at the lowest point of his life, and they had to put him, on the unalive thing.
Oh yes,
because
she did say horrible stuff about that.
He was getting special treatment.
That's what she said. Yeah, Michelle. She thought he was getting special treatment. It made her mad.
Like, really?
Yep. But yet,
yeah,
Charlotte, whose daughter brings her coffee a couple days a week and to spend time with her, and her son lives next door to her.
After the other day, she got mad because my daughter brings me Starbucks twice a week. And because I do,
She's jealous.
I am able
That's what
to
it
see
is.
my grandbabies and stuff.
Yep. She hates that
Oh.
Charlotte was able to
Let's
do
get
what
back
she
to your life,
couldn't.
because I'm using her words.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're
I
twisting my
didn't know
words.
how
Yes.
far behind I was in child support.
Yep.
Like you don't
Yep.
get letters in the mail.
Oh my
No.
God.
Like you don't
Not
get letters in the mail.
Not when you
Like
move.
if you were behind in child support, like you wouldn't know. Like you would not know
But
exactly
some
how much
people
money
wouldn't
you were
know.
behind in child support.
No, listen. First off, she might not know. I talked about yesterday about this family member I have, that raised all four of his children, and three oldest are from a different mom than the youngest, but he raised them all. Well, one he's still raising, but the other three are older, and two of them have children of their own, or they're adults now and married and have children of their own. But that mom, they were 4, 6, and 8 when they got taken away from her mom, and she did not pay child support at all until they turned 18. And a lot of the reason why, it wasn't because she wasn't ordered, the judge ordered it, but because they order $50 a month. That's it for 3 children. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyways, he kept going. She moved to a different state, and he kept going to, she moved to a different state, and he kept going to the child support office, CPS building, which is the same building, Department of Family Services or whatever. He kept going there, and every time they treated him like, well, we need her address. He even took her address in, and I think it was finally when like like I said, the youngest was 17, 18, but she didn't offer to try to send any, of course not. But when the youngest, I'm sorry, turned 18, she finally got a job, and then finally, well, no, I lied. I think that she got a job a few years before that, because that's when he really started going in there. He really started going in there and asking questions like, what the hell? And a lot of times they would treat him like shit. They would treat him like shit. Like, how dare he? He already has her kids. It's bad enough now he's trying to take money from her. And, I mean, he struggled to raise them kids. He struggled. He doesn't struggle as much, obviously, because their oldest are moved out and gone. He has the youngest, but he has a wonderful job, making great money now. But back then he was struggling. And I don't think she had any clue, obviously, how much she owed. For one, because they weren't even trying to go after her for child support at first. But obviously Charlotte knew. But like I said, she moved. I'm just saying, she might not have known. When you move, you don't get the letters like that. Especially if the child support office doesn't have, or the courts don't have, updated addresses.
Lie.
Oh my God. Just because you lie about everything new doesn't mean she does.
This one.
Lie.
Oh my God.
Thank you. People ride bikes. They catch a ride.
Oh my God.
You get a job.
Yes,
you
ride
work.
bikes
There's 1,000
30
different
miles.
reasons why you did not need to have a car note.
Oh, shut up.
How's about you buy a piece of shit, junky car?
That's probably what she did, dummy.
Do you understand? How's about you run? How's about you get
this is
whatever?
interesting.
How's about you buy a shitty used car instead of having a car note?
Hang on.
No.
Hang on.
No.
Oh, okay. So is this from tonight? What the actual F? Is this from tonight? Keep my name out of your mouth, or you go back to the 6th floor. I mean it.
Wow.
So that's what Michelle has to say to me. Keep my name out of your mouth, or you go back to the 6th floor. I mean it. Really, Michelle? You think you have that kind of power over me?
No, she doesn't.
Wow.
Just like supposedly she was going to have Toy Story Andy arrested. Wow. She was talking to his PO and all that bullshit, and all of a sudden they're friends again. Come on. She's so full of shit.
Hang on, y'all.
I quit watching it before that. I didn't see this
the
other day. No,
just a second. I didn't even see that one because I'm just watching on my phone, so I didn't even see that one. You have some nerve coming in here saying something like that to me.
Well, first, did she say 6th floor? First off, I'd like to say something. Did she say 6th floor? Did Michelle say 6th floor? I'm pretty sure she said, I'm not going to rewind it because we're already so in it, but I'm pretty sure she said, let's see.
Some nerve.
Matter of fact, let's go again.
Keep my name out of your mouth, or you go back to the 6th floor.
Yes, she did. I knew it. I knew she said 6th floor. I knew she said 6th floor. Okay.
So, nerve.
Okay, hold on. She said 6th floor. Maybe it's different in different states, but every state I've lived in, it was the 5th floor, not the 6th floor. They called it the 5th floor. Oh my God, I can't with this woman. And if no one knows what she means like the psychiatric wing of the building. It's the 5th floor, Mooch. Maybe it's different in wherever she's at in Georgia, but I tell you what, every state I've lived in, quite a few, it was always the 5th floor. And I gotta lie, I've been there. But for her to say that, she sounds like an idiot for one. And then, because here she's trying to, so she just blew her cover again. There was an email that was sent to Best of Truth, but it was from like a fake, like, you know what I mean? And she'd been getting emails for a while saying horrible from the same email address, saying horrible things about her daughter, saying the same kind of things that Michelle said to Charlotte, like about her daughter being R-word. She was saying that she was going into graphic detail. It was disgusting. And the other night, whenever Charlotte went on to Best of Truth's panel, this is what she talked about. Not paying child support, paying a car note, and all that. That's when Mooch got all that information from. And twisted it, of course. But there was, Mooch came in, Best of Truth's chat, and then there was an email sent then, and it was basically saying, don't trust Charlotte. She was in a mental institution, or in the mental ward or whatever, for 6 weeks last year. And when Charlotte read it, she was like, wait, what? She was like, no. She was like, you could go through my YouTube channel, which I did. And you could totally, listen, if she was gone for 6 weeks, it'd have been fucking noticeable. She probably goes live like every other day. And even last year, she went live like every other day, or every other day. Like every 2 or 3 days, if not every day, every other day. You get what I'm saying? So 6 weeks would have been fucking noticeable. And that's not true. It didn't happen. So that's what she's referring to when she said that she'll go back there. Maybe she went there before and she's talked about that. I'm not aware of it. I don't know. Like I said, I have not always watched Charlotte. I don't watch Charlotte all the time. Like I said, I'm not a huge Charlotte simp. But Michelle's a moron. Oh my God, she's so stupid. So basically, she just proved that was her writing the email, which they already figured it was her. And then because she brought up also in the email about the coffee. Her daughter does not bring her 2 coffees, or bring her 2 coffees or twice a week or whatever. And her daughter, she hasn't talked to her daughter in 6 years. She's not allowed to see her grandchildren, which is not true. And Shirley said, wait, what? So that's she's like, well, you blew your cover, Michelle, because you brought up the coffee, because she constantly always brings up the coffee. And because it's something that she's envious of. She's envious of the fact that Charlotte has that type of relationship with her children. And Michelle is not able to have that. She's envious of it, so she wants to try to say it's not true because she can't see it being true because it doesn't happen for her because she's such a horrible person. But in her mind, she's not the horrible person. You get what I'm saying? So she pretty much just did it again and proved that was her sending the emails.
Saying something like that to me.
Oh my
you
gosh,
have some nerve.
Idiot.
Michelle, don't you have, like, I don't know, a friend's name that you can use and fake and send Marshmallow, you know, one of those little messages to where you're
in the hospital,
not breathing and stuff again?
Right?
Shouldn't you be busy doing that?
For those who don't know, we're going to end this here, but for those who don't know, Mooch not only faked a stroke, this is before, I don't know if it was at the beginning of or before she started talking to Toy Story Andy, but she faked a stroke for attention and messaged other YouTube creators pretending to be a friend, saying, and then she even did a live and refused to show her face. Everybody was like, she's like, because my face is melting, half of my face is melting off. It's literally what she said. Because they were like, well, go show, go cam up. They were all telling her to cam up, like she likes to scream at people to do. Because, and one of them said, well, cam up just so you could show them where you, and the one was trying to defend her. it was like, just cam up. That way, they could see that you're in a hospital room for like a second. And that way you could just be like, and she was like, no, I'm not doing that. Half my face is melting off. And then she admitted that it was a lie because I think someone called a welfare check or something, or called local hospital. Someone did something in real life, which they shouldn't have done, but they did, and proved that she was lying. And then she did it again like a month or so ago when her and Toy Story Andy, but it wasn't a stroke this time. She had pretended to be a friend of hers, texted from her phone to Toy Story Andy, and he showed the text on his stream, saying that she either had an accident in her house and was found unconscious. It was like basically like in a coma, she was trying to say, or she tried to unalive herself. It was something like that, something disgusting. But she did it again. Of course, no one believed her because she faked the whole stroke thing. And she still tries to say that it's true that she was unconscious or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, but, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what Charlotte is referring to there. Don't you have, like, a friend that you're supposed to be, texting, pretending that something happened to you? Because she does that all the time for attention. She's disgusting. And I'm pretty sure a lot of times she'll do stuff like that, too, for money. That's a way of her e-bagging. She e-bags. And she tries to say she doesn't, but she does. I mean, there's a compilation. We'll watch that sometime. That I think it's on I See What You Can't, where it shows like her basically e-begging for money. And then there's one of her crying that I think is chef's kiss after she literally made fun of Charlotte for crying. When she said all those horrible things about Charlotte's daughter, her and Charlotte and her daughter. But there's a video of her crying, basically, I'm not an e-bagger. I promise I never e-bag. And it is hilarious. Hilarious. Because she is an e-bagger. Alright guys, that's it for tonight. Oh my god, we went an hour and a half. I am so sorry. I know I'm long-winded. But I appreciate y'all. If you want to subscribe, cool. If not, no big deal, whatever. If you want to give a thumbs up, do it. If not, do a thumbs down. I don't care. Either or. It's your prerogative. You do you. But I do like to have discourse in the comments. So if you'd like to leave a comment, we can have a little chat back and forth, whatever. I am not going to stick on, it ain't going to be all about this stuff. But we're going to do the next one, which I'll probably do tomorrow now, the whole ski apologizing thing. And then we'll maybe watch those clips of Mooch, those 2 videos I was talking about. And then, because the Toy Story Andy one is going to be very quick. We're not watching his whole fucking live stream. We're just going to watch that part about the whole Michelle and Charlotte situation. And then we'll get on to some other people's, because there are some other people's that I am looking at to do some videos on. Now, if there's ever someone that I do a video on that you're like, oh god, I like that person, I wish you wouldn't have, just you can skip that video. You know what I'm saying? Just skip that video. It's all good. Like, we can have difference of opinion on everything. You know what I'm saying? So, except for Mexican food. Like, we can't have a difference of opinion on that. That's delicious. It is glorious. And I'm talking real Mexican food, not the stuff that you get from, down the street or from Taco Bell or even some of the restaurants. No, I'm talking about authentic Mexican food. Even Italian food. Oh, God. Listen, I like to eat. Whew. I like to eat. But anyways, yeah, we can't have difference of opinions on when it comes to that. Like, if you don't like Mexican or Italian, then you're not a good human. Just kidding. But I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. And yeah, stay blessed. Bye.